Hello everyone, my name is Micah, and in this video I want to share a little update on my creative journaling, talk a little bit about different notebook sizes and what I've been experimenting with, and share some pages with you. So yeah, last time I showed any of my journaling was in the video where I moved into this Midori A6. And if you've been around for a while, you know that A6 tends to be my comfort zone. I think the pages are so great for just capturing one thought on one page, and you can fill them up so quickly because there's not a lot of space to fill. And I think, yeah, it's just, I like it small. I like small pages. I like small drawings. But ever since I started this notebook, I've only done 3 additional pages. So there's this one where I was walking home from the library and just really enjoyed the feeling of walking home with my arms full of books. So that was really fun. And then, yeah, did this page about a note that I had written myself. And then this page here, which is the day I treated myself to a popsicle for lunch. So like my whole lunch was a popsicle, because I figured what's the point in being an adult if you can't sometimes just do things like that. And but then at the same time that day I also researched office chairs with great lumbar support. So I do think that that balances it out a little bit more in terms of adulting. But yeah, the reason why I've only done 3 pages in this cute notebook is because soon after I started this one, I made myself a B6 Slim insert with just a couple of pages, not very many. Because why not? It was just on a whim one afternoon. I was like, hey, what's B6 Slim like? Because one thing this year I've been trying to do is write more. And though I am keeping a writing only journal where I just, dump thoughts in, I've also realized that I do want to capture more writing in my creative journaling. I've been looking back at my older journals and I seem to, just write more, and I think I miss it. Not that there has to be writing or a lot of writing in your creative journaling. You can do whatever feels comfortable to you. But the thing with the A6 is that though I like how you can easily fill a page with a drawing or 2, there's then not much space to write about what you've drawn. And so I thought, well, the B6 Slim is the same width as an A6, so it still feels cute and small, but then you get that extra bit of height, which makes it feel more like a standard Traveler's notebook insert, and therefore you can have images with some more writing. And so that's what I explored in here, and I really, really enjoyed this. I did a cute collage here. And then if you have questions about where anything is from, please leave that in the comments, and then in the description box I will have linked where I typically tend to get some of my journaling supplies. For example, these 2 elements are from Erin Ware's Patreon, so I'll have that linked. But yeah, just doing some collages, and here doing a little bit more writing. And then I think I filmed a little reel about me drawing this cute girl here. It was really interesting too in this insert. I had a lot of things about dreams and dreaming, which was kind of interesting how that sort of all came together. But yeah, so just trying stuff out. Again, Nikia, more writing, more photos. And then I've read this book here, Dreams Lie Beneath by Rebecca Ross, which I really enjoyed. It was a really cozy read. And at first I was gonna just leave it at this page, and all of a sudden I realized I had all these thoughts about the book, and so I actually typed it all out and put that in. I didn't even realize that I had so many thoughts about that book, which makes me think that maybe I need to start a reading journal. But I'm still debating whether or not I'm getting ahead of myself in terms of committing to too many notebooks all at once. And then here are some of my favorite photos of my niece from May, just, capturing her like that. And then I've been getting back into mixing watercolors and just getting back into the swing of things. So these were this was a fun constellation of colors, I thought, so that just put that on a page. And then, doing some more writing on this side and doing a little collage that sort of went with my writing there. And I thought that was really nice to do like a double page spread like that. So once I had finished this B6 slim insert, instead of fully moving back into the A6, I went, okay, you've done one experiment, why not keep experimenting? And so we have this A5 Midori notebook here. And this I actually had started as a memory journal at the beginning of this year. Is that right? I think so. I've done a couple journal with me's in this book, but somehow things just didn't really click together for me in this notebook with the memory keeping, and I'm still not quite sure what that is exactly, but I decided to archive most of the pages that were already in this notebook and start afresh and use it as a full-on sort of quote-unquote creative journal, which often includes memory keeping, but isn't limited to memory keeping. At least for me, it isn't. And will the camera focus? Yeah, and so, this was a page that was already in the notebook that I filmed for you. This was just documenting a walk with my family dog, Molly. And I kept it in here because I really like how the drawing of my family dog turned out, and I like the idea of her just always being in the front of my journal, and whenever I open the book up, she's right there. So I thought that was really sweet. And then this page was sort of in parts already in the journal, but I rearranged a couple of things and finally did the journaling about it. This is my dad's handwriting. I had shared with him all of my fountain pens, taped that down a little bit, and he was trying them out, and so I thought that was kind of fun to have in there and keep that. And then I decided to go along with this to just make a list of my favorite inks so far. Just did some swatches, and then on a whim I decided to just add some stickers. So down here, for example, there's this cute Dodo Lulu sticker, and she's just sitting on the ink swatch. I don't know, it doesn't really make sense, but I had fun with it, so that's all that matters. And and then I just kept going. I am basically embracing something that I've learned in the B6, which is to leave negative space if I want to. So just do a big collage like that, and then just have a little bit of writing. Like if that's all you need, then that's fine to have as a page. And so once I figured that out, I felt like, well, the A5 isn't that much different from the A6 or B6 in terms of how much ephemera I think I need to decorate a page. And now, obviously, styles and preferences are different. I always say I love, for example, these really full journal pages other people are doing, like Courtney from Little Raven Ink. Love her pages. It's just not something that comes natural to me to make. And so I'm trying to just embrace what feels right to me, and leaving space and letting something breathe is something that just comes natural to me. But then again, like, I can do these smaller vignettes but still have a place to write. And so for example, this one here, I'm just gonna keep a list of all my summer reading that I've done. So every time I finish a book, I'm just gonna add it here, which I thought was cute, which is something else I'm trying to do more, is to realize that certain journal pages can be filled up over time. Like, they don't have to be finished right away. I can keep lists and keep adding to it, which is kind of fun. And I don't know why I've never considered that before, but it's just is what it is. And then here I had found this watercolor painting, and it just reminded me of summer in Germany where I used to live. And it just, yeah, it just really captured the sort of fields, but with a little bit of the green trees. And so this feels really nostalgic to me. And so I wanted to keep that in my journal. And then the other day, I went to Trader Joe's, which, if you don't know, is a grocery store. And I learned from one of the employees his way of figuring out the best watermelon to pick. And so I just wrote that out. And the watermelon I ended up with was, in fact, very, very tasty. So yeah, I'm keeping that in here. And then here, this is actually, I think, my favorite spread so far. And I think it feels like I'm figuring out what journaling looks like for me in an A5, and how I would love to keep going with this. And so this is an image that Pinterest showed to me. And it's insane because there's these, I don't know if he's from Sweden. He's from one of the Scandinavian countries. An illustrator called Carl Larsson, or artist. I don't know if he would call himself an illustrator. And I love his work. And there's this company that now sells wallpaper that is inspired by his work. And I love everything about this photo. This is just the marketing material for the wallpaper. And this is just sort of like, wow, I would love my home to look like this. And so I pasted it in and wrote about how I just, yeah, love the image of this. And I also wrote that sort of Scandinavian style or Nordic inspired interiors always feel nostalgic to me. And I think that might have something to do with reading so much Astrid Lindgren when growing up, and having a lot of picture books by Astrid Lindgren that sort of have that sort of style about them. I don't know. It just feels very nostalgic to me, even though I've never been to any of the Scandinavian countries. And then I did add this cat from a PET tape on there, and this cute little mug. I thought that was kind of cute to just add these to the photo. That was kind of fun. And then yeah, here I made, again, a wreath, something that I started doing recently on the smaller A6 pages. And then I was like, well, look at that. You can just do them in the A5. But then you still can also write a couple paragraphs. And then here, I haven't written anything yet, but I had this image in my head of this house among trees. And so I figured I'd just draw that out in my journal and have it there. And quite pleased how that turned out. It was also a very good exercise in mixing some greens together. So yeah, I just had fun making that in here. Yeah, so overall, I think I'm gonna keep going with the A5. I think the nice thing about the A5 is that you can do lots of different layouts. You can really play around with text and image combinations, which I feel like you're a little bit more limited in the A6, especially if you do want to have both writing and the images. But yeah, I'll see how this is gonna go for me. There's always this little, I don't know, tinge of feeling bad when you switch notebooks. At least I feel that way. But then journaling is a tool, journaling is a hobby. There's no need to make it feel like it's homework or a chore. Oh, I've got to finish this notebook. Yeah, I just don't think that there's a need for it. And I do know that most of the time I find ways to repurpose notebooks that I've abandoned as a journal. I can always find a new purpose for them so the paper doesn't go to waste. And I'd rather have creativity and feel like I can put something on paper than not do it at all. And if the paper doesn't feel right, if the size doesn't feel right. Well, how do you go about that? How do you keep just different sizes at the same time to explore different notebook sizes? Or are you like me, you stick to one size and then all of a sudden that feels a little bland or boring, or that it doesn't fit anymore, and then you just switch over to a different size? How's that for you? I'd love to chat about notebook sizes in the comments. And then other than this, which is sort of my creative journaling, I do have 2 more notebooks that entered my journal lineup. One of which is the Hobonichi Techo, the avec for July to December. I've been enjoying my 5 years journal so much, just writing that little snippet every day, that I want to try and see what it would be like to do daily journaling, daily memory keeping in the Hobonichi avec. So I bought the July to December notebook. So I'll keep you updated on that and tell you all about how I'm doing with that. Because the one thing about the 5-year journal is that I don't have to decorate it. It's just that one sliver of writing. And in here, I would like to have a little bit of decorating and some fun with stickers and printouts. So I'll see if that, how sustainable that is for me and enjoyable that is for me. So yeah, there's that. I'm gonna start that next week. And then what I've also started doing, inspired by Erin Ware on her Patreon, as well as for Messy May, she's been doing a lot in terms of color swatches and collecting color palettes in different ways. And so I started my own color palette book, which again has helped me to get back into watercolors and getting myself reacquainted with my watercolor palette. And I can highly, highly recommend that. Just get your palette out to play around with what colors can you mix and what palettes can you create. It's so soothing and quite a lot of fun. And you learn so much about the colors that you have and all the different colors that you can mix up, I guess. So yeah, this is really fun. Just a little notebook, if my camera will focus, which is not necessarily a journal, I guess, but yeah, something fun and creative that will be very useful. All right, I think that's all I have to share for today. Thanks so much for sharing this time with me and letting me chat about notebook sizes. I hope you found something inspiring or interesting in this video. Until next time, happy journaling!